Ladies and gentlemen, welcome along to Virtual Office Connect Tuesday live show this Tuesday evening. Hope you're doing extremely well because I'm super excited to bring you this episode this evening. A continuation on our lead generation, how to construct and design a cost-effective, reliable and affordable lead generation system for your business. Because I have a question for you. Could you do with a few more phone inquiries coming into your business right now? Would that help your business? Does a lot of your business come to you via the phone? And at Virtual Office Connect, we are here answering your phones for you and following up on those call inquiries. So we can also help you with building up and getting more of those call inquiries coming in. But I want to bring this to you tonight because I think this is an important piece, a vital piece of the puzzle when it comes to business owners trying to work out how can I grow my business and get more people calling me, right? Because at the end of the day, if we don't have people calling us, we simply don't have a business. Now, before we get going, my name's Harvey Lynch, one of the directors here at Virtual Office Connect, and I'm excited to talk to you tonight. Unfortunately, Katie's not with us. She's been flat out with just about everything you could possibly think of this week. So I'm sure she's tuning in somewhere and probably taking the piss out of me right now somewhere as well. So hi, Katie, if you're out there. Now, folks, streaming live to our Facebook page and to our private group members tonight. Now, last week we brought the first step on creating a lead generation system to our private members in the group, but I thought, why not share it with the crew on over at the business page as well. And for those tuning in on the Facebook page, if you want to get a glimpse of that first step in creating an effective, affordable and reliable lead generation system, jump into the Facebook group in there and check out that first segment, because the first segment covers off on the big thing that everyone's trying to work out these days, and that is getting attention in a crowded marketplace, right? There's nothing worse than just putting your name out there and sitting back and just saying, hey, pick me, pick me. There's a lot more to it than that, but it's not as difficult as you may think as well. So if you want to check that out, head on over to the group. We'll do a quick recap on that now before we get started. But also jump into the group because you get exclusive access to first of all, a 30-day free trial of our virtual reception services, where you can offload those call inquiries onto us to be able to test it out for 30 days. You can't get 30 days in anywhere else in the marketplace right now. So it's worth your while checking it out. See what it's like to offload your calls to us to be able to help your call inquiries come in by providing a professional face to your business and alleviate that extra workload of yours having to follow up with those new inquiries, because we're going to show you some pretty wild statistics very soon on the time the time it takes to follow up on those leads. And the longer that time takes, the less likely you are to convert that inquiry into a paying customer. So super excited to bring this to you tonight. So let's jump right in. We've got a bit to cover tonight. First of all, a quick recap on last week. So I'm just going to bring up my screen here now. So last week we touched on the 3 steps to an effective lead generation system. And the first step was the getting attention, right? So we'll do a quick recap on that, right? So now in any marketplace, there's a sequence, not a sequence, but a little bit of science behind how to get attention. First of all, that is obviously having the right market. Second of all is having the right message. And third of all is having the right medium to deliver that message to your marketplace. Now, what I mean by medium is that there is many different ways you can actually get a message across to your target market nowadays. And for example, some of those different channels are obviously the online platforms such as your social media outlets, and also your digital media such as your Google, search engines through Google searches. We've all done a Google search before, where we click on those big blue words on the Google search. So those are the online ways of being able to get attention. There's also your offline ways as well. So you've got direct mail, so you can send pieces of mail directly to your target market with a message on it. You've also got billboard advertising is another one. You've also got you can do flyers or mail drops, those sorts of things as well. So they're all offline. So last week we covered off on we covered an online strategy where we had a Facebook ad, right? Now from this Facebook ad, we then want to drive that traffic to somewhere else. So the advert is to get attention, right? If you want to know more about that, go back and look at last week's episode. We've got to get the attention, right? And the purpose of that ad is then to drive that traffic to a specific point, a specific place. So we have a call to action on that advert, right? Now, this is online, folks. Remember, I'll try and keep this as simple and explain it as simple as I can tonight. So this is an online strategy. Now, we drive that traffic either to somewhere like a website or a landing page. Now, right, and on that landing page is where we start to talk about the solution to their problem. So that's what we've done so far. So we've capped off, and the first step of our lead generation is to get attention via ad, right? This is our attention space here. And now we drive to where we capture info on our second step. All right, so tonight is about the second step, and then we follow on to the third step shortly. So let's have a look at what the difference is between, say, driving traffic to either a website or a landing page. Now, a landing page, you may be unfamiliar. Everyone pretty much knows what a website is. It's a business place where they have a lot of information about what they can do, their different services, and a lot more sort of broad scope of their business, which you'll see on the left here. But a landing page has a much more specific outcome that they want you to achieve or to receive from that advert. So the advert has an outcome, is to get the traffic over to a website or a landing page. And then the website or the landing page has an outcome of capturing your information via delivering some value. So we're not going to go out there and just say, hey, give me your details. We're going to use that landing page or that website to give some value to be able to help the prospect or help the lead get some value, some takeaway information that they can use to perhaps solve their problem or part of their problem in exchange for some information. Now, why do we do this? Well, capturing information is actually, I'll go back a step. The most important asset that your business actually has is its customers, its clients, its prospects or leads, and any inquiry or any contact that is filtered through any of your advertising, your lead generation before and landed in your database. Because let's think about that for a moment. The more the greater your database, the more you have to build relationships with those contacts in your database over a period of time to which point when they are ready to buy, your relationship is quite strong. They know who you are, you're front of mind, and they're ready to actually do business with you. Now, let's look at the difference here. So we've got landing page, we've got website. So the objective of a website is to direct a visitor to relevant content, right? So it's more information grabbing place where they can gather more intel about trying to solve the problem that they have, right? So let's just say if you're an electrician, right, your website would have everything that you are able to help them with on that site, but also you may have some information on there that actually can step them through an issue that they may be having, right? So there's a lot more broader information on that site as opposed to a landing page which delivers a requested content, right? So it's actually content that person has asked for or clicked through to receive with specific intent, right? Visitor intent is very broad, so as opposed to specific intent with a landing page. Traffic sources can be varied, whereas with a landing page, it will be a very specific campaign. So this is an online campaign. It could be a Facebook campaign, advertising on Facebook, or it could be advertising on YouTube or a different social media channel. Navigation. So on a website, you have the navigation bar at the top generally, where you can click through to different areas or different spaces of the business to find out more information, as opposed to a landing page which has basically nothing. So you're on the page. That's the information you've requested. It's all there on one page, looking at you back in the face. Content, website, overall business category, and positioning copy. Whereas on a landing page, it's very specific content, tailored or specific to the information you need and the answers you're requiring at right then and there. And the desired action, of course, which is why we do all this, is to get the prospect to the next step of our lead generation. On a website is to draw the visitor deeper into the website, right? Whereas a landing page has an outcome of clicking on a single call to action, right? And we will follow up we will move to that action in just a moment. But here's the thing, that when we talk about outcomes for websites and talk about outcomes for landing pages, the average conversion rate of a website versus a landing page is quite significant. Now, I'm not going to go further into details, but I'm just going to give you a couple of pointers here. So the average website would say convert, and this is the average website. So I'm not talking about e-commerce or like sites that sell off the website specifically, but the average website will convert at about 2 to 3%, right? As opposed to a landing page that can convert between 20 to 30%, right? A huge difference, because the landing page has specific intent, right? So I hope that sort of helps you out there. And if you have any questions about that, put them in the comments and I'll answer them for you straight away, because, it's a lot more cost effective, a lot quicker to be able to design landing pages for specific campaigns than actually to go out and build an entire website. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a website. You should, but a landing page is going to deliver you more results, more cost-effective results in a quick, shorter amount of time than having a broad lot of information on a website. So here's some examples of landing pages, right? So here we have a landing page of Netflix. So you can see there that its specific intent is to deliver you some information about unlimited movies, TV shows, and more. What they can do is to get you to the next step is obviously to enter in your email there, where they can then follow up with you and send more information that you've requested getting to that site. Here's another one, DoorDash. So your time, your goals, you're the boss, start and stop when you want. Gather your information there via that little panel. So this is a one page. Oh, sorry, there's a few pages here, frequently asked questions, which looks like it's further down the page there if you scroll down. But you can see this landing page has specific intent to be able to get your information to deliver more value to. So the advert that drove you to this landing page probably had more about that specific intent as to the reasons why you're here on this page. And therefore gathering your information to get you signed up there. Here's another one, no navigation bar at the top, a video there to tell you more about what specifically you're on that page for. Gather your information here on the email there, and some information specifically tailored to what you're there for. You've requested this information, so they're gathering your information, gathering your email address to deliver that information to you, right? So there's a few examples of landing pages and the ways in which businesses are capturing that information online, right? So they've been driven to these landing pages from an advert somewhere via, whether it's via Facebook or via direct mail, they probably, or even if it's a billboard, visit www.thislandingpage.com, right? And it drives the traffic to this page where they can get that information that they've intended on getting through the exchange of giving off their information here on this landing page, as you can see in front of you. Now we've got the information. The next part is that we need to talk about the final step in our lead generation system, or how to create an effective, reliable, and affordable lead generation system, is to talk about the third step being follow-up. Now, the most important part of the whole sequence is the follow-up, right? Because we're going to go into some information now that's really going to blow your mind, because most salespeople don't follow a proper follow-up process, i.e. Continue to follow up and get that yes that they're after, because of a few things. One could be fear of rejection. One could be fear of just spending too much time with someone who they think is not going to go ahead anyway, which is quite often not the case. So let's dive right in. So we spoke last week about a marketplace, right? And the fact that there's only 3% of any marketplace really that's ready to do business today. So when someone says that they're not ready to buy, it never means give up, unless you've approached them in an annoying way. They might tell you that they're not ready, or tell you to go away politely. That you just don't give up after the first try, because there's only 3% that are ready to buy today. 56%, according to my snazzy infographic here, are just not ready to buy today. They may be ready in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months' time. And then the other 40% are not even poised to begin yet, right? So they're going to be ready soon, okay? So I'll just show you on a graph now what I mean by that. So by following up, you're there ready when your prospects are, okay? So here's a marketplace in this triangle here, and here we have our 3% at the top, okay? 3% at the top, and here's our 56%, right? That are not ready today. And here's our, sorry, what was that? That was 56%, yeah. And here's our other 40% that are going to be ready soon. So here's a small percentage of our market that is actually ready to buy today. Very, very small percentage. So, but when we think about where the actual money is out there in a marketplace, have a look at the size of this. That is where the money is in these two sections here, right? So when we think about our marketing, if we are positioning ourselves in front of this portion of the marketplace, yes, we're going to get some people that are ready to do business today. But if we focus our marketing on the bigger percentage of the market, the bigger portion, and we're there ready when they are, do you think we might have a better chance of actually starting to really grow our business and dominate our marketplace by speaking to those that are, if they're not ready today, when they are, we're going to be there front of mind for them. So that's where I mean by follow-up. So we're going to get that into that now. So when is following up? Speed is the most important thing, right? Because as you'll see on the my awesome infographic here, no, thanks to the source down the bottom, by the way. Speed is everything with follow-up, okay? And this is when it relates to your phone calls, having someone there ready to answer your calls quickly with speed is going to give you a much better chance of actually converting those inquiries, because here's why. If you follow up with a lead within 5 minutes, you're 9 times more likely to convert them into a paying customer, okay? 9 times out of 10, or 9 times likely, to actually convert those into a client. So you do the maths on that, right? And we're talking about within 5 minutes. So if you're a busy business owner, which I'm sure you are, and you're spending time after work following up on calls or in your lunch break, how long has it been before the actual phone calls come in to the time that you actually respond to that call? is it longer than 5 minutes? Well, the longer it takes, the quicker or the more drastic the drop-off is for you to be able to convert that client. So 30 to 50% of the sales actually go to the vendor that responds first. So let's say a new inquiry comes in. Well, you're pretty well, by the time someone's actually picked up the phone and actually started calling suppliers or calling people that they'd like to inquire with, you're on a short list, right? So you're on a short list with probably 3, 4, or 5 other business owners that do pretty well the same thing that you do, okay? If you respond first, you're 30 to 50% more likely to get the business. Now, they're huge numbers, wouldn't you agree? Very, very important that the calls are answered quickly with speed and responded to. So I guess when that comes to your business, we really need to have a think about, gee, am I getting to the phone quick enough, or am I returning those calls quick enough to be able to get that extra business? And if the answer is you're not that confident in it, well, then perhaps a virtual receptionist may be just what you need, maybe right up your alley to be able to say, hey, look, I'm a busy guy or a busy gal. I'm just going to offload my inbound calls to a virtual receptionist that might be able to handle those inquiries for me, at least take the message, and I can get back to you as soon as I can. Just having that touch point or answering that call first is going to give off a very, very professional front face to your business, so that those callers can be really, really well looked after. So now, the calls. How do we follow up with these calls? So after the first call ends, you must, when you want to follow up with this prospect that's called in an inquiry, right? The number one aim is to have that next call scheduled with that caller. So if you have someone answer on your behalf, or you do your calls yourself, right? The caller comes in and you're very, very busy to be able to take down their information and quote them, for example, there and then. Try and get that next call in the diary so that you're going to call them back at such and such time, such and such day. Because when they know that and you deliver on that they are going to hold you in high regard, so many H's there, to be able to say, hey, look, these guys are actually fair income. They're serious about getting my business. I'm going to seriously talk to them. So get that next call scheduled so that you can follow up with them at the time you say you will, right? So the first thing to do is, obviously, when you get on that follow-up call, is summarize the call, summarize their inquiry that they called in about firstly, okay? And then explain to them, take the reins here. Take the front foot on this conversation. Have the control of the conversation. Explain what will happen next on the call, so that if you're quoting to them, if you have a series of questions, just let them know what's going to happen. So I'm just going to go through a few questions with you now, just to get a better idea on your inquiry, and just give you an idea or a heads up on if and how I can actually help you solve your problem with whatever it is, the problem that I have. Okay, so that's the most important thing. Take control of the conversation by asking questions, and then you're off on your way. And then schedule that call. Tell them that the calendar invite has been sent to them for that next follow-up call. Okay, if the situation arises where you can't do business today, or you can have your virtual receptionist handle this for you, make sure you tell them that the calendar invite is in the email. It's on its way to them, so that you've scheduled that follow-up call with yourself, if it's someone handling your call on your behalf, or if it's yourself, tell them that the calendar invite's on the way. And then state that the call-in details for the next call will be sent 24 hours prior to the call. So generally you would have this automated, right? Now, automated inside of a customer relationship management system, or a CRM for short, where you can actually store your contact information, your contact data. We did an episode a few weeks back on this, so reach out if you would like to know more about customer relationship management systems, because we've got a very special offer. I'll put a link in the comments at the end of the show, because if you're interested in taking a free trial for what we believe is the best CRM system out there, then we'd be happy to help you out with this. And automating those follow-up sequences via email, and that is automatically triggered. Okay. Now, if you do not have the next call scheduled, when you do jump on that call, or if your VR virtual receptionist is handling that for you. If you don't have the call scheduled, summarize the call, explain what will happen next on the call, and then mention the hurdle that has kept you from scheduling the next call with them, okay? So just talk about, just be real with them and mention that on the call, and then say you'll be in touch soon to schedule the next call with them, okay? Now, what you'll have here is to be able to make sure you're following up in the right touch points, is to actually have this triggered from your CRM to follow up with them with a series of emails or SMSs or just touch points along the way to be able to help them out here, okay? I think we might have jumped ahead a couple. Anyway. So there you have it. So to be able to follow up with leads, inbound call inquiries, to be able to then have certain touch points. I think I'm missing a slide there for some reason, but the amount of touch points required for your business to be able to get that business or capture those opportunities is probably a lot more than what you think, okay? A lot of salespeople, now when I say salespeople, it's probably yourself as the business owner, but if you're a small business owner, may not necessarily be the case, but generally speaking, most business owners are doing their own sales calls. If you give up after the first no, right, after the first inquiry and you're not getting a win on the board or converting that lead into business, and you're not following up, most people give up after that first time. Why? Because fear of rejection. They don't actually have a follow-up process in place, or they haven't even captured that contact's information and keeping a record of their conversations in their CRM system, right? There's 3 ways why follow-up actually fails. Now, the required amount of touch points, I would highly recommend you do. Touch points mean follow-up, so it could be emails, SMSs, phone calls, is at least 7 or 8 follow-up touch points, right? Now, I know you're saying, well, that's a hell of a lot. But what I would highly suggest is getting a CRM system where you can actually automate this whole process or delegate this whole process to somebody else. So if you're very busy, which I'm sure you are, delegating it out to another team member, which could be a virtual receptionist, and we can certainly provide you with that. Delegating that task out to follow up with certain prospects that have come in through your lead generation system at least 7 or 8 times. Now, if you want help with that, we can actually help with you set that up with your CRM system and actually get that automated, because if you're not following up, then you're actually leaving money on the table. The fortune is in the follow-up. You may have heard that before. But if I can just sum it all up, if you're not following up, then you really are leaving money on the table. For those competitors of yours that may be following up, just think about it. If you're seen to be calling your prospects on a number of times, not being annoying, but just saying, hey, look, how's things going with your decision around this problem you've got? Have you found a solution for it? You may be even running an offer at the time where you can actually use your offer to help solve that problem for them. But it's very, very important that you, number one, get the attention. Number two, capture their information via the exchange of what you've promised them in the advert, exchange of value. And then once you've got that information in your CRM system, then you commence a follow-up process to be able to nurture your relationship with that prospect until such time that they are ready to buy. Excuse me a second. So when they're ready to buy, you're there ready to act and get the business in the front door. Now, just think about it. After 7 or 8 touches, how strong your relationship's going to be with that prospect or that person. And you really are going to be off to the races. So 3-step process in an effective lead generation system is, number one, get attention. Number two, capture their information. And number three, have a follow-up process in place to be able to nurture the relationship and get the business when they're ready to buy. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that helped you out. I hope you got some value from tonight's show. I certainly enjoyed bringing it to you, and we look forward to catching up with you next week. Now, make sure if you're not in the group, get in the group and get your hands on a free 30-day trial where you can actually talk to us about your follow-up processes that you may have or have not have in place with your business, and how we can actually help you out with following up some of your leads for you, make outbound calls on your behalf to be able to make sure you are building on those touch points with your callers so that you can actually get that business. Now, so highly recommend you jump over there and grab that. And I will also stick a link in the comments below with the free 14-day trial of a CRM system that we believe is the best you can get out there on the market. One that you can actually build landing pages and websites in as well and automate your whole marketing systems inside that CRM. But that's a discussion for another day. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you have a good evening. My name's Harvey Lynch, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.